Hi, I'm Mindy Stearns. Welcome to It Happens. And to know him is to love him. He's a CEO, an entrepreneur, an outlier, an overcomer, father, brother, underdog. I'm talking about my husband. Please say hello to Glenn Stearns. And this is It Happens,
hey,
Season 2. Woohoo!
Season
We're all
2.
about Season 2
That's
here.
right.
This
That's
is
right.
great. Here we are back in studio. We've
Back
had a good
at
year.
it.
Happy New Year. Happy 2021.
I don't like the Zoom between
Zoom?
you and I. Now, you and I have done this a few times
Yes.
where we're in other rooms and it just doesn't feel the same.
No,
you know?
I like to be close to you so I can touch you and
Yeah,
harass
so you can
in person.
kick me.
I
Exactly.
do.
Another room.
There they are.
So, hey, we've got some exciting guests here today to kick off Season 2. We started this year at the end of the year with Grant Cardone of the new series Undercover Billionaire 2. And now we've got two badass bitches in the house. Can I just call you that without offense? Because it is a term of endearment. Elaine Culotti and Monique Mosley from Undercover Billionaire 2. Ladies, welcome.
Hey, ladies.
Thank you.
There they are.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
I have to tell you, I was so proud of both of you ladies yesterday. We watched it live, the show. And for those that maybe are new to what's going on, obviously Grit Happens is something Mindy and I have done for the last year. But it all kind of started with the Undercover Billionaire Season 1, where where I went out there and stuck my neck on the line and tried to see if we could turn $100 into $1 million business. Well, Discovery obviously thought of it enough that they said, well, let's go out there and find some other crazy people. And so last night was the premiere of Season 2, and we've got two of the strongest women I've ever seen.
Oh, my gosh.
That happened to take on the same challenge, and they're right here. So Elaine and Monique, just it was so fun, I guess is the word, to watch you both, because I felt your pain. I felt that first struggle. Tell me, what was it like? How did you guys feel?
How'd you feel watching it? How'd you feel actually? Because you shoot so many hours, and only just a few minutes, really, of all the hours you shoot make it to the screen. Were you happy? How'd you feel about the final product last night?
Oh my goodness. My hands are still sweaty.
Mine are too.
I decided very last minute if I could stomach watching it, because it truly was the most difficult experience I had ever, set myself to think I could actually do. But the city of Tacoma truly just showed up for me, and for that reason alone, I'm just so thankful for this experience.
Oh my gosh.
I was so nervous. Oh my gosh.
Elaine, were you feeling the same? Did you have sweaty palms?
I think so.
Yes, I had sweaty palms. I was sweating all over. I jumped up and down out of my seat a couple of times, and then my friend, was singing, and the funniest I got was a picture of Russ's lazy boy chair in his room with his TV screen. And
Can't hear you, Elaine.
said,
We're having
getting real weird.
We're having some connectivity issues, Elaine. You're frozen, and we can't hear you very well. It's really kind of cut out. I don't know if you're in a different spot that maybe get some stronger signal, but you're on frozen.
I'll redial it for you, okay?
Okay, you go redial. We'll talk to
Perfect.
Monique until you come back. Come on back.
All right.
Okay.
So it's funny because Monique, what I noticed, I mean, the two of you couldn't be probably more opposite, right? And I felt the same way with Grant, which is, and it's not good, it's not bad, right? It's just
is
different,
what it is, right?
And to watch how you approach things and how Elaine approaches things is, I hope it shows people there's just not just one way to, solve a problem. There's a lot of different ways to go at it. And I felt you when you were out there going, where am I going to sleep? What am I going to do? And it was very smart. Hey, a church and having people that are, that care. Again, I wish I had thought of something like that, actually.
Well, listen, you thought of a lot of great things. And, the benefit of going after the person who innovates for you is, you don't know where you're going. But what I did know is that as a woman, I kind of wanted to be, just take an extra step of resourcefulness so that we can at least start teaching women to use their voice, and that, being vulnerable or being in need does not have anything to do with your ability to be intellectual or to be successful. That asking for help is okay if you're being strategic and intentional about it.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Take
and
us
let me
back.
tell you, that was the best decision I made. Honestly, it set me up for everything else that was going to happen.
All right.
I have a question, because I know a lot of people have asked Glenn this, like, why did you do this? How did you find out about it? How did it come across your plate? Did someone tell you about it? Did you watch and say, I want to do that? Or what was the impetus for doing the show in the first place? I'm so curious.
The irony of all this is that Discovery is actually my favorite network. I don't watch a lot of TV, but that is the network that I do watch. And I saw it. I watched it a couple times, actually. And then in January, I got a phone call. I got a phone call from the production side of things, and they're like, listen, you should do this. And I was like, yeah, right. And I didn't know the why. Like, why would I do something like this? Because, outside of, cameras, it's like, you don't want to, if people are honest, you don't want to make mistakes in front of people, right? To be documented. And so I just didn't know the why. And then COVID happened, and I had a million reasons why we needed inspiration, why women needed to, put themselves on the forefront and kind of lead us by example. And so honestly, the pandemic became my reason why. And I'm just so grateful that I actually was contacted, because it was the best thing to do.
Well, that's awesome. Now, this show is called Grit Happens, right? And what, it's about really is those that, and the ideas and the journey we go through, and how it really takes a lot of times where we have to bite down and we have to bear through a lot of pain, and we have to really, kind of reinvent ourselves sometimes. Tell us a little bit, but tell us a little bit about some of your background and how you get to a place like this, because, I don't think things happen by accident. And, I'd love for some of the listeners to understand a little bit more about you.
Oh my goodness. Being raised by a single mother, and I'm the oldest child, and growing up in, income-based housing, and watching her work so hard, put herself back through school, you definitely learn the idea of kind of having to be forced to make your own way. And, I was just curious enough and all the time to know that I wanted more. And we were also taught in our household that we weren't our circumstances. And so, I was on my way with a full scholarship to college, and then, I get pregnant. So, I'm a single mom at 18. I'm in college.
Okay, bye. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Keep
We
going,
got
we're
Elaine back.
listening.
Go ahead.
Single mom.
Just finish your story, and then we'll get Elaine back in here.
Yeah, single mom, in college. And what I knew for a fact, the moment I realized I was bringing another life into this world, is that I had to take all those principles that my mother taught me and apply them and do it unapologetically. And so, most people were spending their time going to college parties. I was spending my time working, going to school, and preparing for my future. And I learned at a very young age in college to only do the things that I felt like could apply to my future.
Yeah.
So I was very strategic and intentional, especially because the thing that everyone kept saying, and I know, Glenn, you've probably heard this, is that I'm not going to be anything because I was a young mother.
That's right. Hey,
and
I get it.
Part of my fight was about proving to people that I'm not a statistic.
That's right. I mean, I had, remember, I had a child at 14.
I know.
I know you're.
I've always wondered. I think a lot of people wonder. They think, well, I don't have what he takes, or I don't have what she takes, and I don't have that. Do you think you're born with this drive, or is this instilled? Does this come along, or do you think it's something that is intrinsic within a person, or do you think everybody really does have the resources to create their own success?
I think we do all have the resources. It starts with our mindset. Mm-hmm. And the audacity to know that, there's more for us out here if we choose it. I think that, we can't ever give up. And I think once you accept that, it's up to yourself. You have to put yourself around the things that you want to be. And I always enjoyed never being the smartest person in the room. It was because they were high level rooms, so I didn't want to be. And I always enjoyed being in the rooms that people knew I wasn't qualified to be in, because that meant I was going to be the one who was learning the most.
So, my businesses that I've had, most of them happen to have other presidents besides me. And the president is my last two presidents. See what he's saying. I got Grant Cardone texting us right now. He's trying to.
Grant's trying to.
He's trying to come into our podcast here, isn't he?
No, he wants you to another speaker conference.
Okay. Anyway, so so like I said, so the leader of my kind lending today is a woman, Yvonne Ketchum. My last company, Stearns Lending, it was Catherine Lay, another woman. I have been very fortunate to realize that women are some badass.
Don't say it, because
women.
we are so much more than that.
I was going over to Elaine. 100% badass, I think, is what you said in the show.
Self-proclaimed badass.
That's right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now, tell me again, as we just talked to Monique about, I don't believe that you got here by accident, right? Like a little bit about your background and how you end up in a place like this, and why. Because again, I think people need to understand things don't happen because you're given a silver spoon all the time. They happen because maybe you're given the wooden spoon, And tell us a little bit about yourself, Elaine.
Well, I saw the backside of a wooden spoon plenty of times.
Exactly. That's right.
I think that, there are no accidents, right? I think the universe is very purposeful. And I also feel that there's a reason that I'm in a spot to be able to motivate people to be self-starters. And I'm still working on what the takeaway value is of all of this, because it's also new. And I'm a closet worker. I'm in my workspace in my head every minute I'm awake, and half of the time when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So once I get this all worked out, it's going to be pretty interesting. But I will say that it has a lot to do with counting our assets in a different way than dollars. And I realize, and always have, that what's going on in here and in here, what's going on in your head and your heart, are the things that really make you a far cry different than everyone else. Mm-hmm. Compiling a bunch of money and stockpiling it and buying a bunch of things is not nearly as challenging as starting something from nothing. Mm-hmm. and doing it again and again and keep giving it back and creating a movement. That's far more interesting, isn't it?
So when you look at yourselves and you say, okay, I came from nothing, I built myself up, I did a lot of it in a man's world. You're an exception, both of you, to the rule. Why then are you going to want to go in front of the world and go, hey, let's see if it was all fake. Let's see if I'm going to look like a complete jerk to the world. Why would you go and throw yourself out there and risk all that? Either one of you.
Monique, go.
Throw me in the fire, Elaine. Throw me in the fire. I think simply put is that we cannot be what we don't see. And, I, as shy as I am and as behind the scenes as I am, I thought, wow, what is the worst that can happen is that at minimum, I'm going to learn something about myself and meet a new community. And the best thing that can happen is that people walk away with some type of inspiration, some type of, learning tool. And what a great thing to teach people to become community. And for me, that was worth it versus me not doing it. Especially as the first Black woman on the network, that was worth it to me, right, to do that sacrifice. if we can educate, and that's what this network is about. Discovery is about educating. And I think that it was worth it to me, no matter what the results were. But I have to tell you, as you know, and as Elaine knows, and as Grant knows, every day you had to find the reason why. You had your initial why, and then every day was about, okay, why again?
That's
Wait,
right.
why again?
Hey, like I said, I've always said it. It's Naked and Afraid Business 2.0.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you said that too. It feels like it. You're definitely out there.
I loved, Elaine, what you said when you were talking about you got God right here on the top of your head, and you feel that little kiss from. I'm just like, is that something you've always felt? Is that something you have lived by your whole life?
Very, very much. I mean, whenever I get a little bit trepidatious, I just rely on that.
I love that.
It's a part of confidence, to know that there's always something that's guiding you. I'm not, I'm not afraid to be unsure about what it is and to say that out loud. Faith is different things to different people, and it always should be. I mean, that's the whole leap of faith. That's what it means.
Right.
And how, who are we to tell you how you should think, right?
Right.
But it's my secret little weapon.
I love that. I'm like, I know that feeling. I just love that you put it in words.
Yeah.
So eloquently.
We were, we watched the show last night. Again, I didn't cheat. I could have gotten it from the network. And I did have. I spoke with the head of the network yesterday, and she had called and told me that she was very proud of both shows, and and again, she's a woman too. I mean, we've got a lot of powerful women in this, and Discovery is, I think, about 65% men, right? So that demographic is changing, and so it's really neat to see that. And again, I when I first did the show, I reached out to some friends, and they were on the show, and they got cut out. One was Richard Branson, and one was John Elway.
My favorite.
I know, and they cut them out, if you could believe it or not. And but I said, or maybe the producers asked, I don't remember, but like, wouldn't this be fun to do? Wouldn't you love to do it? And they both were like, hell no, I would never do it. And here are two guys that I thought were pretty.
Risk takers, people that are not scared of adversity, and
but I think
they're comfortable now. They have no desire to go back.
Exactly. You get to a place where you say, either you want to see what you're made of, or I've already done that before. And for me, it felt like something that made me feel alive again, right? Like, I love digging out of a hole. I find that kind of, I wouldn't say fun, but I find it very, it just makes all the wheels are spinning, and you'll get out of it. And so, do you find yourself in a similar situation where adversity and conflict, I guess is probably the right word, are things that you run to or you run away from?
Oh, I personally am a big fan of conflict and adversity.
I get it.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I am.
I'm all
Now,
in.
do you create it? Because I've been accused of creating it sometimes. I don't. I mean,
No, I just don't. It cannot be. It's not a deterrent. I mean,
Right.
I'm not afraid of it. If somebody's, being adverse with me, I either go around them, over them, under them, through them. But I'm not. And conflict is designed to scare you off. That's what it is. I mean, and it's just a false narrative.
That's interesting.
We
Glenn
can't
is
all
always.
get along. Okay, well, we got to get it done.
We got to get through it.
And fighting about things, which is really what you think of when you think of conflict. Is it's
working through it.
You have to find common ground, and so I like the challenge.
Right. Yeah. Glenn had kind of been that way. He's never been afraid to face anything. I mean, I probably say I'm a little more of a conflict avoider. I don't love it. But of you in that success, that if you were afraid, you wouldn't make these choices. You wouldn't make these risks. You wouldn't get through a lot of the things that are blocking.
But what I found, and again, I was very fortunate when I was a young kid, that my mom and my sister, my mom would say, hey, come on, kids, we're going in the car and we're going to get lost. And so we would just drive and go down these, fields and farms, and she'd pull over and she'd go, oh no, and we're lost, right? And then we would find our way home. And so I found that conditioning as a young kid, taught me that it's okay to not know where you are, and it's kind of can be even an adventure instead of the fear. And so whenever I found conflict, there's a lot of people that want to avoid it, and you think, I don't feel like talking about this. And then I would always be like, I want to talk about it right now, just because I know I want to get it over with. I know the other person probably feels the same, twist in their stomach, right? So let's just get it over with. And then you feel a lot better. So you might as well do it now instead of going home, thinking about it. You can't sleep at night and stuff like that, I found that when, both of you kind of found your bed, your first bed last night, right? You're like, okay. And then I was like, oh crap. Like I only have 3 days here, or I only have it was like, it's that first step.
I panicked for you. I was panicking.
Of going, I figured it out. Oh no, I only figured it out for a short time, right? And so did that play through? And we don't know the rest of the outcome, but was there a constant state of
panic,
or did it get better?
Ooh,
Monique, that's you, baby.
I said, I took the approach through the whole 90-day journey as more of okay, that's a problem. All right, okay, it's not the end of the world though. I still have life, and I'm a glasses half full type of girl.
Yep.
So that was my approach. I'll tell you what though, I was so impressed that Elaine was like, oh, I got it somewhere to stay for 30 days.
I was too. I was
and
like,
Grant was like driving a brand new Jeep
I know.
and in a brand new trailer that hadn't even been sold yet. I'm like, oh my God, I was thinking wrong.
well, so was Glenn.
I'm
after
sleeping
watching
in
that.
my damn truck. I'm going, what? I'm thinking these three have learned a lot.
Can we just mention that all three of your vehicles were far better than old Betsy?
Amazing.
Far better.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
I know you didn't have the fan belt. Old Betsy and the fan belt going down the street.
I had so many bells ringing in the car, I couldn't have a phone call.
Engine.
My truck. You know what the irony is about my truck is that in high school, like everyone who was in college and like young execs, they were all driving Jeep Cherokees.
Yeah.
And so in high school, I was like, yeah, I can't wait to make it so I can get a Grand Cherokee. And then look,
there you go.
I get to Tacoma and I got a Grand Cherokee.
Careful.
waiting on me.
Careful what you put out there.
That's
You just
right.
manifested. You manifested that.
But you got it.
It took you back. It went back. Your dream happened a little late, just a little delayed. That's all.
It happened after the other things, right? The G-Wagons and stuff. But hey, never too late for a green goblin, I called it.
That's right.
You know what I want to ask, as a female, woman to woman here, you guys have both tapped into some very male dominated industries and had incredible success. What would you say as a woman was probably your biggest obstacle to overcome in breaking through into that world to really prove yourself?
Well, I've said this out loud many times, and I don't mean to dismiss, the movement of making way for women, but there is, a moderate amount of credit that needs to be applied to being underestimated.
Yeah.
Because one of the most incredible things about being a woman is that there are plenty of people that are naysayers in the room that have no idea what you're about to do. And they're not watching you and they're not competing with you when you're about to take their head from their shoulders. So
I love that.
Exactly.
That's
personally.
great. That is
So,
great.
not that, hey, I'm not a woman, but I have been underestimated my whole life. Take offense to it. It made me mad that people would, be waiting to pounce. And then I found that could be an asset because, you say, okay, I'm going to continue along. Everybody's doing all these things. And I knew they had ulterior motives. And then you'd say, and then when you came out and jumped on them, they were surprised, and anyway, it's just part of, I think, again, we have a lot of people out there that are how to be an entrepreneur, what to do, right? And a lot of it just has to do with having some really thick skin, right? You need to be able to handle that. You need to not take things as personal. You need to be able to realize that, you're going to be sacrificing. You're going to have pain. You're going to have a lot of different things. And that sometimes, you also got to know that it's just, a sacrifice you do to get ahead, whatever that means, right? And so I like that there's people here that are listening that will be able to get something from all of us, in a different way. Because, again, some people are going to resonate with you, Monique, some with you, Elaine, and then others with myself or Grant or 100 other people out there, or take something out of all of us,
I wanted to, before we move on, I wanted Monique to answer the question because I know Elaine jumped in on that and she had a really good answer. And then Monique, what's been your experience?
My experience is that, it's 2021 and we're still fighting, to show that no matter what our accomplishments are, that not only do we deserve to be around, I have a saying that, just create your own tables. It's like, it's 2021. We still don't make $1 on the dollar to our male counterparts. So the way I look at it is that I go to the places where I can make impact. I don't go to places where I'm selling myself. I never really took on that perspective. It's either like you're on board or you're not, because I'm going to do this regardless. And that's kind of just the approach I have. And, you create the environments and that you create the community professionally and personally that actually support you. And then that takes a lot of the pressure of having to be a salesman. I'm not selling myself to anyone. It's like, are you on or not?
I love it. Very strong answer.
I do too. And again, I've been so delighted in just getting to know you both through this process, but especially hearing a lot more than you knew I heard. Okay, because I was in the middle of doing my own show, and I would get people that you got to think this is 100 people that are going between your set, not really set, but and your set and mine. And back and forth, and you'd hear, oh man, that Elaine, she's a tough chick, man, or or Monique, oh my gosh, and so it was really fun to be able to listen and
that
hear.
Grant, he's so much nicer than you.
That's a pussycat. Where is he?
Exactly.
I know he was just. You had him on at the end of the year last year. We did a little thing right before New Year's.
Yeah, we had him on last week, I think it was, right?
Was it? Yeah.
And so everybody is different, but I got to hear so much about, and I was also a little bummed. Bummed was probably the wrong word, but I'm going, man, I was off trying to create something, over here, and they didn't give me any help. It feels like, I started feeling ripped off, going, man, why didn't I think of, this, and why didn't I think
You
of that?
want to go do it again, huh?
No, I don't think so. But it was, because I kind of threw it out there and thought, if they want to take me up on this, great. But then I didn't give it much thought after that, and then all of a sudden I'm being whisked away, and I'm like, now what am I going to do? Because I didn't have a plan, and so it was winging it really quickly, And so anyway, I really have enjoyed so far what has been what is going to be in store for you guys, but what happened last night was amazing.
Of what you did, and then how everyone's so happy to see you. And I just want to know,
that the light that was shown on Erie was a very good light. You got to think about on his neck.
I remember.
Yeah. And so there wasn't a whole lot of positive
news.
Messages out there. And so when we came in there, partnership to come in and revitalize the place.
A lot of pride in that town.
There's a lot of
pride in Erie.
And so they were very pleased that we shined a very nice light on the city. And so coming back in, and I hope this happens to you, but I mean, I do get, a lot of month I was with John Elway, and we're very, very close, and this lady walks up, oh, Glenn, I would love to get a picture. My son and I watched the show, Catch John, and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know who he is. And
And her husband was
and
like,
her husband like, Mr. Elway, do you mind getting in the picture? And so we took with this guy, right? And
that was funny.
but going back to Erie, I mean, I have to tell you, there's a lot of very grateful people that weren't on the show. Just the Erie Rising, I mean, the Comeback City was so. I mean, she's champagne,
she was
right?
geeked.
Yeah,
She was so happy.
it just bubbles.
That is her. That is her through and through all the time.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so it was really. It felt.
Show you how important relationships are and what you're forming right now. And that's I emphasize so much in both of the initial episodes between all three of you, is that those were open arm, and people were so excited already because now all of a sudden he's like,
I'm from Texas
and
from
Florida, and all
just to go
over.
eat the barbecue, right? I mean, they're very, great fans, and so it was really awesome. And what I love that both you guys, ladies, are doing is you've been back, flipped off, but you still have an obligation, right? It's your word. It's
Your word, your
Oh,
reputation.
it's my business. I can't leave them alone. I call them all the time. And forget about I miss them.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
that's nice.
you literally become family. A Tacoma Zoom that was hosted by the mayor, and I watched it live with them on the West Coast time, and then I did a Q&A after, and I'll be with them in a couple of days, and I'll be there, each month for a week. This is my family now. We're building together, and more importantly, they're happy, they're inspired. Like, even though we're just 4 people who have had this experience, it gets to go out to hundreds of millions of people.
Yep.
And even though they won't have cameras with them, they can apply these things to their communities. And it's amazing what happens when you build as a community.
You've got great.
Even financially, what it does for your community.
This has been the best show to focus and highlight on these towns. There is a potential this can go on forever because there's so much of America. We need so much to bring things together, and I think this show brings people together in a way that we need so badly right now. And I'm honored that you guys have been part of such a great movement. It's exciting to see, and I know we can't give away anything else that happens beyond this. And if people want to watch, they got to tune in to see Undercover Billionaire Season 2 on for you guys.
That's right.
We're
Mindy,
excited.
how often are you doing these? I want to do them. Are you doing them a lot?
What's that?
These-
The
How
podcast?
often are you doing podcasts?
We
You
do
know
one
what?
every week.
We do it every week. We record some are live. We've been doing, we started this.
You know what I did?
We'll do it towards the end of the season or in the middle sometime. We'd love to talk to you guys again.
But I'll tell you, ladies, and I think you're probably better at this than I was, but when the show hit, I was not prepared with any social media. Again, I mean, not a television guy, we're just neural advice. It felt right. So we started this podcast about a year ago, and we just have been having a blast.
Yeah, because we didn't think to put a commercial in the middle of the show like somebody.
Commercial
we didn't have
product.
a book or product to say. So while we're speaking of it,
Yeah.
what are your social media handles so people can find you guys and follow you and see what else you guys are doing and follow your journey? Monique, go ahead. What's your...
IDLETT.
Oh, it is Monique Idlet. Okay, Instagram. And then Elaine.
Oh, I'm just Lipstick Farmer. You can find me on Lipstick Farmer.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Fantastic.
Fabulous lipstick on Hunty.
Yeah, Elaine Culotti, they respond. And I think it's really hard when people think that you're not responding because, you're not, when you're really just, you literally, there's just so much to sort through.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I mean, forget about the fact I have to run a business and a family and a farm.
You're
Yeah,
not
man.
busy. You're not
Yeah,
busy
man.
at all. Well, we really appreciate
Well, listen, we really appreciate it. It was wonderful to be surrounded by 3 very strong women today. I feel
You go.
mine as well. I think it works well together as we go right behind you guys. So it's going to be fun to watch these next couple months of shows.
We'll get you guys back in towards the end. Maybe we can have all 3 of you on and we can do a fun recap when this gets
That's right.
to the end and
That's
we can
what we
all
gotta do.
compare notes.
Yeah.
That's good.
And,
Absolutely.
to both of you, it's going to continue to, especially with, like the second show that you're doing. And what I do know is that in order for Glenn to have done something like this,
Stearns.com. Follow him on Glenn Stearns.
So did I
At
say
Glenn
this? I don't
Stearns.
think I did, but I'm doing some mentoring that again and ladies, I'm sure you're going to be asked a lot of this too, but and so I'm doing some group mentoring. People that are asking questions can get to go on to the glennstearns.com and subscribe. hopefully we'll catch up and we'll be able to put some stuff
You guys
together.
are going to change the
Well,
world.
I got some free mentorship in me, so I'll support whenever you need a lady's perspective. Glenn.
Perfect. Good. That's awesome.
If you're a farmer,
There you
Yes.
go.
Yes.
you know what?
100%.
Elaine, I need some farming support down here. I bought a farm
Talk
in the
to
middle
Skylar
of this
about the.
pandemic.
I know
That's
you
right.
did. I'm going to help you, girl. I'll come down there.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
come to
love it.
Miami, baby.
Love you, ladies.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you,
today. We appreciate it. We'll be
guys.
watching all season Undercover Billionaire Season 2 on Discovery Plus for Undercover Billionaire's Comeback City. Lots of good, inspiring
right.
TV to be caught on Discovery. Thank you, Discovery, for making this such a fun process for all of us. Thank you for joining us today, you guys. Happy New Year, and we'll catch up with you guys later in the
Catch you
season.
on the other side.
You have been listening to another episode of It Happens. We'll see you next
We'll see
time.
ya.
Thanks, guys. Woo!
Take care. Bye-bye.
Woo! All right.
I love it.
It Happens on
Look at
Glenn
this. I don't
Stearns.
think I did, but I'm doing some mentoring that, again, I
Catch up with you guys later in the
catch you on
season.
the other side.
You have been listening to another episode.